All right, hello. Today is October 16th, 2024. I want to do this reading. I want to say I wanted to do this reading real quick, but I don't know how quick it's going to be because the topic is potentially kind of heavy. Um, so I was watching a documentary on YouTube the other day about Randy Quaid. And if you don't know who Randy Quaid is an actor. He's been around for a very, very long time, but like the last about 15 years or so, he's been doing stuff that a lot of people would consider to be weird, you know, and would suggest mental illness and substance abuse and all of that stuff. Um, for me, the only movie that I really know of and can really think of when it comes to Randy Quaid is Independence Day, which ironically is about aliens taking over the earth, or rather, aliens setting the earth on fire. so, anyway, what Randy and his wife have been claiming over the last however many years is that there is a group of people which he so eloquently called star whackers, and these people go around, they follow celebrities or people in the industry. I don't know if they necessarily have to be super famous, but this group of people who follows people, the actors, the performers, the lower level people, I guess, in the industry around, and will harass them, will kill them. Sometimes he said that what he meant by kill is, these people will like kill your reputation, or they'll kill your finances, or sometimes they might actually, commit murder. He he claimed that Heath Ledger and like a few other people were killed by the star whackers. A lot of people use the word Illuminati, um, but whatever the case, whatever their actual name is, I'm pretty sure they exist because, excuse me, while I was watching this documentary, it brought to mind um, a show that I used to watch back in like 2014, and I think it only lasted for about 2 seasons. It was called The Prancing Elites, and in this show, it was gay men, it was gay black men who were dancers. They would do the majorette style dancing, and that show, I don't think it really just took off. Like I said, it lasted 2 seasons, but it definitely got some, you know, not the greatest feedback, for reasons that are, I think, pretty obvious, because I don't think it would get that great of feedback even today, 10 years later. But anyway, I recall there being an episode where they were getting ready to audition for not audition, perform rather, for a secret society. That's what they called it in that episode, that we're going to dance for the secret society. And the secret society was comprised of members and that residents of that city or state or wherever they were. And these were doctors, these were real estate agents, these were news anchors, these were local politicians, and so like I said, this show, it's been years and years, but I remember back then thinking like, wow, so there really are secret societies. And so, like, yeah, there are definitely secret societies, and you know they took the camera into the dinner, into the event, but everybody had masks on. They had the little masquerade masks on. So I thought that was interesting, and Beyond that, beyond just this group of men, excuse me, beyond just this group of gay men performing the majorette style dancing for a group of, established, wealthy people with careers and, whatnot. Um, take that how you want it, but just the thought that, these high value, these, so-called high value people, I mean, you want to be around your peers, of course, but these are highly influential people, and they're all together, and they get together and they have these dinners and talk about whatever it is that, people in that tax bracket talk about. I don't think I'll ever be invited to anything like that, but it's okay. It's okay. I don't think I want to be, like, after some of the things that I've learned over the years. I don't think I'm good on that. Anyway, I just wanted to do a reading, bring this back to the whole Randy Quaid situation, just to see what the energy is around that. I've been rambling for a minute now, so I'm gonna go ahead and get to it. I will say though, I'm going into this a little biased because I have watched that documentary, and I thought the documentary did a pretty good job of showing, like, I guess, both sides of Randy. I walked away from it feeling that yes, Randy Quaid and his wife are both a little bit, you know, I think they both got a couple of screws loose, but I also think they're telling the truth, and they have just been dismissed as simply having a few screws loose, as opposed to them actually possibly being the victims of something that might have gone on behind the scenes. And because they are so eccentric, and they admittedly have a problem with, like, substance abuse in the past. um you know I know a lot of people would discredit them because of that, but I guess it's kind of like, what's his face, Orlando Brown. you know Anyhow, let me get to the cards. Because I've been talking for a long time. I will say, protect yourself, guard your heart, guard your spirit. Use your Florida water, your special oils, your talisman, your cross, your crystals, whatever it is that you do. Cover your head, whatever you do to protect yourself. I pray that any and all eyes who lay eyes and who view this tarot reading will be protected from all danger, seen and unseen, anything that might be associated with this. And I also pray for my own safety as I navigate these spiritual waters. I pray for protection, and that should I come too close to anything that may be unsafe, that you give me to stop. you let me know. Clear as day. So no smoke. I'm gonna keep it real cute. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off with the vibe deck. I use my What's the Vibe deck, and then move on to the Truth Oracle. So shuffle these cards. I'm just trying to see what is happening. Are the Star Whackers, the Illuminati, whatever they're called? What is that all about? Pray for peace and protection for everybody who may watch this. May they be covered. Let no harm come to me or to anybody who watches me, or anybody who listens to my voice. God divine, protect the divine. Whoever is safe to let me see, please let me see it. Whatever is unsafe, keep it hidden from me, please. Boundaries. Boundaries. All right, so that's a couple of that says a couple of things to me right there. One of them is a message directly to me, but also there's definitely a line. There is definitely a line that I'm going to do my best not to cross. Soulmate. Masked. Mask. Archangel Michael. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is a message directly to me telling me to be careful. I see you. I see you. And I understand. Two-faced. Nurturing. Time. And intimacy. Running is at the bottom. And so these star whackers, um, I don't think I'm about to say anything that's new at all. I think everything that I'm about to say is stuff that has been said before. But I'm going to say it again. So this group of people who goes around torturing and possibly unaliving people at the behest of other people who have a crap ton more money and influence and connections. They pretend to be your friends. So when you first, it seems like none of this should be new, and that people shouldn't still be falling into these traps. But what's that? I want to say it was like Barnum and Bailey, like one of the guys who came up with or who had the circus guys, who said that there's a sucker born every minute. Was it him? I don't know. Somebody said that though. There's a sucker born every minute, and even though there's a plethora, there's a ridiculous amount of information, and I mean, at least anecdotal information out there, that it doesn't seem like people should still be falling for this stuff. But to this day, I still wonder how people get catfished. But I have to remember that, for one, not everybody watched the show Catfish, especially back in the early days when it came out. And two, some people just, even with all the information that's out here, all the different ways that you can search for people and I mean, you can find all types of crap on people without even being an expert researcher or detective or anything like that. Um, but folks are still out here getting catfished every day, and it blows my mind. So anyway, there's definitely a line in the sand that I am not supposed to cross for my own safety. So that's why I said I know I'm not going to say anything that hasn't already been said 5 million other times by 5 million other people in the world. But when people get into the industry, they are promised things, right? And this is also stuff that is being made public every day, courtesy of TikTok and YouTube. And a lot of these artists now are just speaking, period. They're just talking about stuff that artists didn't always talk about, even 10 years ago, let alone 20 or 30 years ago, about how terrible their contracts are or how they're broke. Like, I feel like TLC was probably one of the first to really do that, to talk about the fact that they had no money compared to what you would expect them to have. So, and then come fast forward, all the biopics and people telling their stories and stuff, and they're talking about a lot more acts are talking about how those early days they signed those contracts. It was made to look like it was going to be this great partnership, this long lasting, like a soulmate, this long lasting partnership, and it was going to be great for everybody against the nurturing card. But really, it was some it was some bullshit, you know? Like they were lying to him. They were keeping secrets from him, which is why, I mean, because who, in their right mind when they know better, you know, who would work for nothing? No, even for the love of it, even for the love of something. Like many of us have things that we do no matter what. Like I continue to write and I do these tarot readings regardless of whether or not I'm getting paid for them. Now, do I always do them for other people? No. But for myself, I'll do it. Or, just out of curiosity, if I'm curious about a topic. Or, what have you. If there's somebody I really care about, and I do it as a favor for them. But even for the spirits that come to me, for the people who come to me in spirit and ask me to do something on their behalf, like that comes at a cost for them. I don't do that for free. I don't do. So, these people with the money, they definitely, um, they definitely establish it. They make it look so good to somebody who's young and dumb and inexperienced, who just doesn't know any better. Um, they also, along with that whole, um, the we'll take care of you thing. The part of the taking care of is the protection. Like the Archangel Michael represents protection. They offer that, to people who don't know better, or they pretend to offer that. Like it's all a lie. It's all. These are the two cards that stick out the most. It's all a lie. It's all a lie. This industry is just full of lies. I mean, you're in the industry of telling stories in the first place. Telling stories and making up stuff. That's all it is. And this boundaries card, it means more than one thing. It's more than just um it's more than just my folks telling me that I need to make sure I don't cross any lines here, that I don't say too much. But it's also, them drawing that line in the sand. Now, It's almost an invisible line in the sand at first. Anyway, it becomes more and more apparent. The further you get along in your career, realize that they own you. But there's always a line between you. There's always a clear difference. There's a boundary there between you and the people that you signed a contract to work for, the people that you agreed to essentially be their pawn, I guess. Um, it's always going to be there. There's always going to be a separation. It's just they try to make you think that it's not. They try to make you think that they're really there for you and that this is a match made in heaven. And it's not. It's not. So we had to get that out of the way. We had to get that out of the way first so that we understand where we're going from here. That this industry, show business, entertainment business, period, whether you're on the music side or the acting side, or, you know what? I am a self-published author. My book, I'm proud of my book. Regardless of what other people might think about it. I think overall I had a pretty solid book. It needed work. It still needs work. I keep telling myself I want to take it down and edit it and then re-release it. But I haven't gotten to that point yet. But even in the literary industry, when I was doing my research back when I was trying to figure out if I would try to pitch my book to somebody or if I would self-publish it. And there's so much pettiness and backstabbing and everything in books, And I mean, it's like this in every industry. Like you don't even have to be in a artsy type of industry. I mean, hell, this is at work. I mean, you can work at Burger King and you got people who are, brown nosers and will sell out anybody. But it's even worse in industries where you have the potential to make large sums of money, for a song, an album to sell, 1,000,000 records. I don't know the math behind that, but that's a lot of money, And it's not money itself that's the root of all evil. It's the love of money. That's a scripture that is often misquoted. It's greed that is the root to all evil. Consequences. Wishful thinking. Masculine energy. Clingy. Distance. Today. Time again. Time. See what's become of me. Smell the roses. So, the masculine energy card can also represent authority. It's one of the key phrases on there. There are consequences associated with working for or holding on to this authority. This makes me think of. I feel like I'm going all over the place with this, but it's all connected. It's all under the same umbrella. But this makes me think of Vince McMahon and all the troubles that he's been going through lately. I remember years and years ago, Spirit showed me some stuff about the wrestling business in a dream, and it's. I still watch wrestling from time to time, or sometimes I'll look up old clips from like the 90s and the early 2000s, with nostalgia. But I ever since I had that dream And this was before everything started being exposed. But ever since I had that dream, I've been side eyeing wrestling and all my favorite wrestlers ever since. Because it's awful some of the things that they do, or some of the things that some of them are put through in order to be successful, and the way some of my favorite wrestlers, that most of them are retired or retired or are in the process of retiring now because you know they getting old, but the way some of them will still hang on Vince McMahon even after all the despicable stuff that he has done. Just to think of some of the storylines that they would portray in on wrestling back during the Attitude Era. They were absolutely disgusting. And I remember, I was a child watching this stuff, It was horrible. I was thoroughly entertained back then. And and as an adult, I'm looking back on it and I'm like, man, I'm still entertained by it, but I understand exactly how disgusting some of that stuff was. Um, but Vince McMahon, he's a sick joker. He's horrible. But he has his ride or dies who will not, even though they know better, they will never say a bad thing about Vince. Even though I'm 99% sure he's guilty of everything he's been accused of. But this is not about Vince. And really, this reading is not even about Randy Quaid. Like I said, this is about these star whackers. And I kind of feel like Vince is one of them star whackers. That term sounds so crazy. But I feel like Vince is one of them, though. Some of his wrestlers, I don't think, just me. Anyway, so yeah, this is one of those things where, you play the game, you think you're playing the game, you're trying to get into it, wishful thinking, but you don't realize maybe at the time it's a bad choice. It's not a very good thing for you to do. There are consequences for thinking that this is going to turn out good, for falling for it. You're so caught up in your dream, so caught up in what you think you want, that you ignore this. Like in this picture, this lady literally has a match lit next to her eyes. Like she's about to set her eyes on fire. She has a bunch of matchsticks that are bandaged or taped to her face underneath her eyes. So it's like she don't even realize that this is not smart. you know. But these people, once you suck up to this energy, literally and figuratively, and you start trying to hold on to it, it's like you don't even realize that you're this close to this. And that's the thing. I think that's the point of it all. To you, they're just, he might care about you a little bit, maybe. But their bottom line is the business. It's the money. It's, whatever it is they're trying to accomplish. And so they will leave you out in the cold. They'll feed you. They'll make sure that you're able to feed your addictions. They'll lure you in with all the party times, or, whatever it is that makes you feel good for today. They will lure you in with it, and they will leave you. When your time is up, and they feel like they've gotten enough use out of you. So in the case of Randy Quaid, I don't recall him ever just being like this huge success. He's been a consistent, steady actor for many years, but he was never like this big A-lister. Now his brother Dennis Quaid, I feel like he had a more lucrative career, I suppose, than Randy did. But Randy didn't have his brother's looks, and Randy is a little bit older than his brother Dennis, and so time is not exactly on his side, and he's just always been kind of good at playing that kooky, wacky character. From the movies that I do recall of his, he's been better off doing stuff like that. But yeah, so you start getting older, and You want to hang in there and still work and show what you can do. I mean, this industry is cutthroat. I mean, even without all the conspiracy stuff and the esoteric stuff, it's just this industry is ridiculous. You start getting old, they tell you to slow down, and you're still trying to hold on to it, which is what the clinky card here it falls above, or comes above the smell of the roses card. It's like you're trying to hold on to something when really you should be slowing down, right? But they will absolutely leave your ass in the cold. Cutting ties. Two-faced. Two-faced again. Antisocial. Thrills. Archangel Michael again. And I feel like, puzzled. We give a lot of these celebrities way too much intimacy. We give them too much power. We really do. Lust. We give them way too much power. And I say that because, a lot of times we would, I know I've done it, even though I say I look at celebrities as everyday people because that's what they are. But they're human just like the rest of us. But I've had interactions with some celebrities, or all the celebrities who have come to me in spirit, passed away. And hell, some of them haven't passed away. Some of them alive and well, and they've come to me in spirit. But that's a conversation for another day. But sometimes it's so hard to believe because it's like, why would this person want to talk to me? Just little old me. I'm nobody. I mean, I'm somebody to me. But, to the grand scheme of things, like the world at large, like, yo, nobody know me like that. Why would you come to me? And I had to stop and think about it. Like, no, these are people. These are humans. Same way you're a human. These are human beings. You know? So, no, don't act like they can't come to you because they absolutely can. Now, back to what I was saying, how these people, they will use you up. They will feed your addictions until your addictions overtake you. But they will feed your addictions to get you to come in and do what they want you to do. This reminds me of Judy Garland. They made that poor lady into an addict when she was a teenager. They told her she was fat. She's probably all of a size 2 back when she did The Wizard of Oz. It's one of those movies where you don't want to know the history of that movie because you'll never be able to look at it the same once you know what happened behind the scenes. But no, these people, like I said, they will leave you high and dry when they feel like you're not, and it's all about money. When they feel like you're not of any use to them anymore, they will let you go. Now, how they let you go, that's the thing. That's the thing. See, it causes, it's like, that protection that they offered you, they offered to take care of you. Well, no, now they're bringing, it's causing a lot of confusion. You're leaving you puzzled because you thought that y'all were close. You thought that y'all were intimately close. Like, okay, these people care about me. It's like, no, they don't care. They do not care. They will feed you as long as you keep feeding them by any means necessary. So they will supply you with all of the all of the vices that you want or that you would need to continue moving forward to get what you need to get done. But until you become a liability. Once you become a liability, no, they're not trying to work with you anymore. Then that's when they blacklist you or blackball you. But they absolutely will turn their back on you Have you feeling left out when y'all thought y'all were close? Karmics. Karmic stuff. Exhausted. Harmony. So you get to the point where you're trying to find some peace and balance in your life, then you realize that you're trapped. And then it's when you try to leave. Like, it's when you're trying to leave when you're still capable of making money for them that it becomes an issue. It's like, no, we're a family. We're in this together. You know, I think I said this in another video. I don't remember. But this card, whenever I see this card, it just reminds me of the TV show The Sopranos, or like the mafia type family. Like, no, we in this thing together, but it's definitely a toxic situation. It's very, like, somebody's not right in the head. This is some psychopathy here. Burned bridges. So it's not even so much just ego thing of, oh, you're leaving and, you know, we don't want you to leave. It's like, no, if you're leaving and we know that you can still make money for us, then, you know, like, oh, you think you're gonna you're gonna go to rehab, you're gonna make better music, are you gonna make happy music? No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. You think you're going to try to get better so they'll pull you in. It's like, no, you can go to rehab, you can fix yourself or whatnot, but not before you pay us what you owe us, because, you know, we have contracts. We have contracts. You give us what you're supposed to give us. You give us what you owe us. They Is that my cue to? Is that my cue to hush? It might be. Might need to stop. I might need to stop. But anyway, we're still, like I said, we're talking about the Star Whackers. We're talking about the Star Whackers. It's just, it's funny to me. It's funny. I was trying to explore deeper into some other topics earlier today, and I ended up being interrupted. But it was along the lines of this here, about how things are orchestrated. Like, okay, who makes phone calls and who gets the phone calls and what do they say? And, you know, I'm like, I've been told that I ask many questions sometimes. Ask me no questions, I'll tell you no lies. Oh, no, I need to know. You know, I don't call myself a journalist, but I was a student of journalism. I was a mass communications major in college. And now in my job, is literally my job to do due diligence. So I'm supposed to ask questions. It's my job. I can't help it. I need to know what happened here. The Star Whackers. The absolute truth about these people and what they do. If it is a such thing. If there even is a such thing as Star Whackers. Are they killing these people? Sing. I feel like I've been seeing that card a lot here lately. Commitment. You make a promise to perform for these people. See, this card is always kind of makes me feel some type of way, because especially with the color red, because the red can signify like passion. It can signify love too, but it can also signify anger. It's fire. It's a very strong emotion, and love and hate are two sides of the same coin. And you're making this very passionate agreement, this pledge, this promise, firm, that you ain't going nowhere. This is a commitment that's forever. You end up regretting it. want to start over, you do. Like I said, you're good for them as long as, I don't think all that murder stuff, if it is a thing, if it is an issue, I don't think that gets to be cooled down. I don't think that really gets to be an issue unless you're still in the midst or if you're still capable of doing more. Hidden truth, of course. Because never somebody dies and they're over like the age of 80, and some people want to cry conspiracy. Then I'm like, why would the so-called secret societies wait until somebody done lived out their full life and had a career and retired and got all the money and all the all the accolades they could possibly get? So, oh, now we're gonna kill you now that you're over 80 and you're sick. Like, I don't know, people crown. I feel like I pull the same cards no matter how much I shuffle them. Ascending. No matter how much I shuffle them, no matter who I read. Well, I guess no matter who I read for. When I was reading, for Static Major a few days ago, I pulled about half of these cards. But I mean, it applies to him too, because what I said in those videos, or what he said allegedly in those videos, was that his death was not just a case of him being sick and going to the hospital and being a victim of medical malpractice. This was orchestrated. And I think there are still some things that even he doesn't know about the how, but that's for another day as well. But yeah, as long as you can. Now, as long as you cooperate, now you pay your little membership dues. Now you get into the secret society, you pay your little membership dues, and you be quiet. You're gonna be fine. You don't say too much. You just kind of, you get up there, you sing, or you play ball, or you make people laugh. You tell your little jokes, make people laugh. You're gonna be fine. Don't say nothing. Keep your mouth shut. It's either when you start talking or you decide that you want to go independent when you still owe them, or maybe your contract is out but you decide, okay, well, I'm going to move forward and do something else, and it was like, well, no, and they couldn't talk you into staying for whatever reason. That's when it gets to be an issue. That if you can't make them money, that's when it's an issue. If you can't keep them and just look for an investigation card. That's what we're doing. Hope. Uninvited guests. Oh, okay. Okay, I see. Street. Circulation, sports, exhibit. Those are the words, keywords. Forgotten person. Apple, which is wisdom, death, sexuality, or joy. Drinks. And miracle. Am I shuffling these cards well enough? I feel like I get the same cards all the time. Maybe I am. Like I said, maybe they all just apply to the same. Because this situation is very much a case of a star whacker, I guess. So it applies. Allegedly. Let me put that out there. Child. I don't know. I can't prove none of this. I can't prove a thing. And this is not just based off of things that I've heard over the years either. I'm literally just kind of reading off these cards and letting the energy speak through me. And with this apple signifying death here, yeah, they will send somebody after you. They absolutely will. You got the apple here. It's like the poisonous apple from Snow White, and she ate that apple and died, or went into a very deep sleep. Hmm. Not all celebrity deaths are suspicious, but a lot of them are. Even the folks who are not the biggest names, like some of them really do. I mean, some of them really do just die in accidents or from sickness or old age. You know, some of them really do. And just because they agree to be a part of this membership doesn't mean that they're bad people. They just, sure, a lot more people would do it if they thought they could. It's kind of like the Milli Vanilli situation. Like, as an adult, a few years, I remember I wrote a whole thing about this on my blog. But at some point, as an adult, I've always felt kind of bad for Milli Vanilli because they literally could have been anybody. Like ghost singing, ghost performing, ghost writers has been around since show business started. They were just the first ones to get caught and exposed for it. You know, and then as a result, one of the members he self-destructed. So I mean, hell, they didn't have to do anything to him. That producer threw them under the bus, and he was never the same after that. Just let it all go. Yeah, they absolutely will send somebody for you. Like they will, the performers or the people who are bound to these contracts, they will look for other opportunities. They will look for the chance to heal and reset and stuff. But see, like once they get to that point, once they realize they're tired of all the foolery, they're tired of all the craziness there, or maybe they're so strung out on whatever substance they're hooked on that they become a liability. They get to the point where they're a liability and not an asset. But yeah, they absolutely. Some of these folks that be dying from heart attacks and stuff. The young age of dying of a heart attack. They get that checked out. I mean, some of them actually do have heart attacks. Some of them be having, their arteries and stuff be clogged up. But, you know, sometimes it's a little bit more to it. Ooh. Like Prince, when he had that emergency landing, he had to land his plane in the emergency for undisclosed reasons a few weeks before he passed away. Like I remember that, and I remember thinking, "What's wrong with Prince?" And then he came out like 2 or 3 days later. He was like, "Y'all can save your prayers. I'm fine." And then a couple of weeks after that, he was dead. It's like, what? You know? Hmm. Hmm. I'm gonna stop right there. Um. Yeah, I'm gonna stop right there because I think I'm about to say too much. So, I'll close it out. Just gonna say thank you, thank you, Spirit, for coming through. And yes, Lord, be a fence all around me every day. Be a fence all around me. Be a friend, fence all around the people who are watching me. Thank you. Amen.